What is up, everybody? I want to welcome y'all back to another interview for TPS Media. I got a special guest for y'all, uh, an Olympic medalist, a world championship gold medalist, JUCO national champion, amongst other things. My friend, my roommate, one of my teammates, Kenny Bednarek. How you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm good, bro. Thanks for allowing me to get on the show.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I appreciate you being here. We've been trying to get this going for a minute, bro. We both been busy.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of things we've been doing since the JUCO days.
I
It's just
mean,
crazy, I think about it. I'm like, dang, like that was like four years ago.
mhm. It
So
was
yeah, time
crazy, bro.
flies.
So we starting off. Tell the people where you from originally, and get into like your growing up story.
So I'm originally from Oklahoma, Tulsa. I was there for about maybe 6 or 7 years, and then my family decided to move up to Wisconsin, and then we were there up until um, 2019, and that's when I headed to junior college, and then after that, we went to JUCO, and then went to the pro scene, and years have gone by, and still kicking it, still killing it. Short version. What was your other thing? Just tell.
Just tell people how you what you feel like telling them about like you growing up and stuff like that.
I mean, not many people know, but I was when I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Me and my brother were went to the adoption center and got adopted by the mom I have right now. And she's adopted two other siblings of mine. So me and my brother are twins. And like I said, we just lived there for a couple years, and I began to run track in I think it was elementary. So I was very young when I started, and I was always had the love for the sport. I always had a lot of energy. And I think I was also ADHD, so that kind of tied in with that. So, track and field was like just a no-brainer. Just burning all that energy and just having fun and loving to run. And I've done that for many years, and I didn't really realize how good I was until I would say my junior year of high school. Um, that's when I mean, I was doing junior Olympics and here and there my sophomore and freshman year, but I wasn't doing that hot because that was a whole different stage. Like every single year in elementary to middle school to high school, I was always dominant, but I didn't really get that national exposure until then. And then I didn't really take off until my junior year when I was starting to hit those the number one ranking times or close to it, being in the top 10 in the U.S. So, I've always strived to get better and better every single time I step on the track. And I mean, that's just the goal, just to be the best. Always break PBs every single time I step on the track and make history.
Hmm. It's tough. So get into your, you played a little football in high school. So get into. Correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all won state in football, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I
So
I
talk about
start
that for me.
I started football in middle school, I think fifth grade, and then I took a couple years off because I was doing cross country at that time, and me and my brother got in trouble once. We were walking to church, and then we had a little incident where we scared my mom, so she grounded me and my brother for a year. And then when I was gonna go back to cross country, um, in the seventh grade, I went to one practice. I was like, yeah, this ain't it for me. So then I went back to football. The
Hmm.
distance got a little bit too long, so I went to back to football. And I've always loved the sport just because it's more than just you. You have all different peoples from different backgrounds that come together for to achieve one goal, and it's just fun. So yeah, and when I went to high school, I didn't start on varsity until my sophomore year. I played a little bit my freshman year, but honestly, I was bad. Like I was fast, but I had the problem where I was trying to, run first before I actually caught the ball. So I had butterfingers for a while. So just in the off season in the summer, I just worked on my hands and being more patient. And then my sophomore year, I had a lot better season. Same with the junior year, and then when we came to the senior year, like you said, we won state. So That year was a little weird for me because I already made a name for myself in track and field. Like I was one of the top athletes in the U.S. in high school when it comes to track. And when we went to the football season, I was just having a difficult time just because I was thinking like, hey, I'm one of the fastest kids in the U.S. I feel like you should use me more. I don't feel like I'm helping the team
Mhm.
because our system was more. I think it was an option system, so a lot of the quarterback was running and play action. Running back gets the ball, and then I was just out there, just trying to run off the cornerbacks, and I mean that's helping the team in another way. But how we want to actually get the rock in our hands and make some plays. So that year, I was actually thinking about quitting just because I was getting very frustrated. And I was like, well, I'm risking my body out here. And, we got the track season. But, my teammates ended up convincing me to stay. And, yeah, we just had a really good season and everything lined up. And then we ended up winning state. To me, it was like a movie because I was like, wow, we actually made it to this point and won. And then, we got into the track season, the same thing happened. So just my senior year was everything was lining up, and we were killing it.
So since you got them in the same year, I gotta ask you, which one did you enjoy more, football or basketball state title, or excuse me, football or track state
I,
title?
honestly, I say football. I mean, football's always been my first love. I mean,
Mhm.
track I'm good at, but like I said, just when it comes to football, it's just that camaraderie that you have, and I just love that. Like I said, you got so many people from different backgrounds, and we all have one common goal. And like I said, track is more, it can be it is somewhat of a team sport, but at the end of the day, it's you against the clock, and you have friends that you're practicing with all the time, and then when the gun goes off, you're competing against them as well. So at the end of the day, it's a individual sport. So yeah, football is just a different breed, and yeah, like I said, honestly, I still miss it too, but I just know that the opportunities came with track, and um, track is a lot safer than football.
That's true.
Um, but yeah, I would say football.
So, one more question before we get into your recruitment out of high school. Would you take if an NFL team called you? Would you take the opportunity and try to do some kick return and even just be a receiver maybe?
Yeah, hell yeah. So I have a teammate named Kevin Sneed, and he played for the Giants a little bit, and I think the Saints. Um, and he just went to my group down here, just running here and there, just to get a little bit faster. And I think, if the opportunity comes, he said he's gonna go back to the league. But I was telling him that the past 2 years, I was like, hey, bro, like hook me up. Let me run track for a little bit, and then once I do what I need to do in that sport, then let me make a little bit of money in football. I don't really care what role I get. At least put me at punt return, kick return. I'll do whatever. You know.
Right.
So I mean, I've always been talking about it, but if that actually came to be, then we'll see what happens. But we see
Gotcha.
Devin Allen. He has the opportunity of getting out there and
Mhm.
showing his talents on the football field. So like I said, if I ever got the opportunity, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll try at least once.
That's tough.
Maybe if I get smacked or here and there, then I'm like, maybe I got to go back to track,
Go
but
back to track.
but we won't know until that happens.
Mhm. So let's get into a little bit of your recruitment coming out of high school and answer the rumor if it was actually true you were supposed to go to Oregon.
Yeah. So well, honestly, when I had all these schools coming here, I didn't really know. I don't know. I was just kind of picking like, oh, this school, this guy seems like a nice coach, so let me go here. Then I was like, let's go to Wisconsin because I'm from there. Show them a little bit of love. So I went
Mhm.
on a bunch of recruit visits, but I wasn't really thinking about the actual program. I was thinking about the place. But then once I went to Oregon, and yeah, it was just track and field, town. You got all the jerseys that they have, and just very flashy.
Mhm.
Um, and it just seemed like it would be a good fit for me. Like the coaches seemed to really care about the athletes. So, um, yeah, like I before I found out I had to go to JUCO, I verbally committed and told them that I wanted to go. So we're like, okay, cool. And then, the situation came when, hey, you got to go to junior college for a year or two. So, I was upset about that, but we got there, and the goal was just to grind it out, and just make sure to do my studies because I mean that's not even hard. I mean half the time people that go to junior college is because either they didn't get the opportunities or they were just fooling around and all they cared about is hanging out with their friends and doing
Mhm.
sports and that was the situation I put myself in. So yeah, I just needed to do what I needed to do at the junior college stage and like I said, if it was a year or two that I had to be there, the goal was just do that and go to Oregon. But obviously, other things happened, and I
Mhm.
went pro instead. But yeah, I wanted to go to Oregon. I have a teammate here as well in my group named Kyrie King, and he was a Duck, so we kind of joke around here and there like I'm an honorary Duck just because I verbally committed. So
So, how did Indian Hills come about, and were there any other JUCOs in the running?
uh, I mean, honestly, that whole year was kind of a blur, but I guess it's just I think they hit me up a while back, and then I was like, you know what, I'm not going to JUCO, so forget about them. But then when I
Mhm.
realized I had to go to JUCO, I was like, oh, I think these people reached out to me. So I think Indian Hills was one of the first schools I reached out to. Went there, went on a visit, and then I think I went on a visit to what was it, Western,
Mhm.
or maybe I don't honestly, like I said, it was a blur, but I went there, met Brent, and then I forgot. Scott Barnes was the coach, I think, at the head coach before Brent.
Mhm.
And like I said, they seemed like very good people. It was a new program, and my mindset was like, hey, let me build myself up and help build this track program up. Because we're both new. Let's just
Mhm.
grow together. And we went. I ended up committing there, and I mean that was pretty much it with when it came to the recruitment thing. It wasn't really sticky or anything. I made it very simple. Um, I just wanted to do what I needed to do just to go to the 2 year, get out of the 2 year system, go to the 4 year.
Mhm.
So yeah, everything was pretty quick and easy. No bad situation with that sticky situations.
So, when you got to Atomo, Iowa, even on the visit, what did you think as soon as you got off the or got out of the vehicle and seen like where you were about to be at school for the next 1 or 2 years?
Like you already know, there's nothing going on in Atumwa, so it was kind of like where the heck am I? What are the things to do out here? Where's the closest city? The closest city from us was Iowa City, right?
Mhm.
That was like an hour away or something like that, right?
There or Des Moines, one of the other.
Yeah. So I mean, but honestly, it wasn't that difficult for me just because I was in Wisconsin and then Rice Lake, I was still in the country, so I was used to kind of not having things around me to, the city life and all that stuff. So like I said, it was kind of like, dang, like this place literally in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing going on. It's gonna be boring and um, yeah, the school, I would say at Tumwa, the Indian Hills it was a little bit small of a school, but we made it work. I mean, I didn't really think that much about it. It was just more of the mindset like, hey, we gotta go here, gotta grind it out and get out. And then having you guys as my roommates and then the people that were on the track team just made it more fun, because we figured out what we wanted to do when we were bored. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it was that. I mean, place in the middle of nowhere, a couple kids, and we just had our fun in our type of ways, and that was it. But yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal just because I'm from a small town, anyways.
got you. So get into your first collegiate track meet. Uh, I want to say I can't remember the exact time, but we ran at Northwest,
That was
and it was
in December, right?
yeah, that was before Christmas break. I want to say,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
ran, and you the I want to say the arena or the track we were at was brand. Well, I think that was the first track meet there. Now, granted, it was the first meet there, but I don't think anybody would have had the time at that point. So talk about your 400 race during that the first track meet and talk about how exciting that was to hit that time.
yeah. I mean, you know, uh, we did what we did in the fall for training, and I was excited, also nervous. First races, you always get the jitters. And then you're at a different level, so I don't know who's gonna do what. Being in Wisconsin, I already knew like, hey, I'm that guy. Now I'm at a different level, so it's like anybody can be that guy. And I was just like, I had to make sure to execute, make sure that my nerves didn't get control of my body. And once the gun went off, we just went, and I forgot exact what time did I run. It was like 45 something, right?
It was something. It was 7:46
Oh,
for sure.
oh
It was
yeah.
something. It was around there.
So I mean, honestly, as soon as I crossed the finish line and I saw that, like I was like, what the hell? Because when I was in high school, I never ran that fast, and we already knew the difference between running indoors and then outdoors. And I only had a few opportunities to run an indoor track in Wisconsin, but they weren't really 200 meters. I think the track we were on was 300 meters, right?
Yeah, that was the first time I ever seen that anywhere.
Yeah, so the track that I was running on, in Wisconsin, I don't remember exact size, but it was like way too tight, so I couldn't really, fully open up my stride and everything. So then when we ran that 300-meter track, and then I saw the time, like I just went nuts because like, just thinking about how we started, and then everything is a progression. So you're like, hey, if I started off this hot and we do everything right, then I'm gonna throw a nasty time at the end of the year. Um, and like I said, it's just the fact that I've never came close to running 45 seconds, let alone 46 seconds, or I would say 40. Maybe I ran 47 once indoors, but it's like a big drop off for me. So I'm like, holy crap, like where did this come from? Because
Right.
and I don't know, I didn't expect that. Like I knew, hey, I won the race, but I didn't expect what the time was gonna be. So when I saw that, I just went nuts because all that college training, just built up our bodies differently, and then the results of my training was already showing.
That fall, man, that preseason, that had me thinking a couple times. I'm like, do I really want to run track for real? Like, this
I
is
know.
crazy.
Yeah,
Especially
that shit
because
was
you
crazy.
had y'all group was the worst. Like, Brick killed y'all in preseason condition. I don't know what y'all was.
Yeah, I don't know how we
Us as
survived that.
jumpers, was dying, but y'all mid distance was yeah. He had it was bad with y'all. I ain't gonna lie, but y'all
Yeah, you
it
remember
worked
those
though.
hill
I ain't gonna
sprints?
lie,
You remember the
bro.
hill sprints we used to do?
Terrible. I think I would say that either that's the worst or ah, or when we remember that one practice, he had to like shovel out the lanes. I think because
Oh yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
snowing at the yeah. I
It
think
was
that
at
was the
that.
worst workout.
Was that at the Ottumwa track or was that
That
at the
was at the
black
high
track?
school. That was at the high school.
Because there was two tracks. Remember, we went to the high school track and then Wait, what just happened?
Oh no.
Oh, that was weird. So we went to that one with the track that got resurfaced that was at the high school, but then remember that black one, the track that had the black, it felt like concrete.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I know what
You
you're talking
remember
about. Yeah.
that one was bad because remember that was cold too.
That they had us. We was just figuring it out, bro. That's the crazy
Yeah,
part. I don't know how my joints and everything stayed together while I was up there.
yeah,
But talk about indoor and outdoor nationals. I got to go with you guys to indoor. So talk about that. I remember. I want to say, were you? I think you were. Something was wrong with you in one of the races. I think it was like the
yeah.
200, maybe. So
I
talk about that
remember.
for me.
So I did what I was supposed to do in the four. The
Mhm.
time I wanted was to be a little bit faster, but it didn't happen, and you already know with all the drama that was going on at the school and with the team and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
um, when I got into the 200, the problem that I had was that the time between the four and the two was I don't remember like an hour or something like that, or maybe I don't
Yeah, it
remember
was
exactly.
close.
Yeah, it was very close. So by the time I got done with the race, I was like, okay, I gotta recover. I gotta put my feet up. I gotta use the Normatec, give me a massage here and there. And you already know like the level of competition is so high, so there's only so much you can do with short time like that. And
Mhm.
I did all that, and then I had to start warming up again, and checked in everything else, and then when I stepped on the track and the gun was about to go off. Well, actually, before that, when we were doing our little run throughs before we got into the blocks, I started cramping a little bit in my calf, so I'm like, ah, shit. So, I was like, yeah, I got to loosen this up a little bit, stretch here and there again. And then, we got into the blocks, And then once the gun went off, like I start cramping within like 30 meters, and then I just said, yeah, I can't.
Mm,
I'm not gonna push through this. So that's why I let up. And
yeah.
I was very upset about that. But then I was like, we got outdoor season to get ready for anyway. So rather keep stay healthy instead of doing something stupid right now. So yeah, Courtney ended up winning that. So I was happy for him. But yeah, that whole situation, just the timing, it wasn't cool. I don't know
Mm,
why they did it like that, but it is what it is, and it's in the past. But pretty much what happened. I just had a little cramp. I didn't want to
mm.
risk it.
Got you. So get into your record-breaking outdoor national performance, running in the 4 and the 200, and I think you got. I would say you got your get back for outdoors from indoors having that situation, and stuff like that. So talk about how that weekend went in New Mexico for me.
Oh, that whole trip was a blast. You were there, right? Or you weren't
I
there because
didn't.
you were hurt?
Yeah, I was hurt. They wouldn't let me
Yeah,
go. I was hot too.
yeah. I mean, you know how we were. We all having
Yeah.
fun. I forgot who my roommate was. I think it was Ty Dunnigan. Yeah, I think he was. I think he was my roommate. Yeah, we just chilling, kicking it, and getting ready for the meet. I honestly didn't know what to expect because, as you already know, we had the coaching changes here and there, and then
Hmm.
the training was a little bit off. So, when we had 2 weeks left in the season, I'm thinking in my head like I don't really know what's gonna happen here,
Hmm.
and everything just aligned. And the first day I ran, I felt pretty good. And then when I saw what's his name? Terrence, when I saw him running that 19.6 when it was that windy day, remember it was like
Hmm.
six
That
point
was
something.
crazy.
So when I saw him run that, I was like, oh, if he's running that, I'm gonna run something stupid. So I was just like,
Hmm.
okay, let's just make sure just to go. So I just went after all of it. Um, and then we saw the 19.4, so everybody was going nuts. And say I've never ran that fast, so just the fact that I put that down there, I was like, damn, like okay. Um, but then I remember yeah, running the 400, just going through the round, saving energy. And then I remember that night, you have, the track fans here and there, and they're like, oh, who is this person? Blah, 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 blah. And then I saw like a lot of them doing their whole conversion stuff. They're like, oh, that would probably be like a 20 point something. So then I was like, oh, like, so you guys don't think I'm legit or something like that. Like I took it personal, and then I was like, well, next day I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna run, a 19.8 because I think with the actual conversion, like there's a thing that you can go on the website on the
Hmm.
internet and you can do your own conversions, and then it'll tell you exactly what it was, and it said I ran like a 19.8. So I was like, okay, if I technically ran 19.8, I'm gonna do it again the next day, because obviously you got people that don't know what they're talking about. And then I think we had the 400 right before the 200 finals. And the thing that I wish I could redo is when I ran that 44.7, I was conserving energy because I was like, I gotta run this, like, I gotta give it my all in this 200. So when I ran the 44.7, I was like, shit, I PR'd it. Then I was also like, damn, like I could have ran way faster than that. Just the fact that I was conserving a little bit. But
Yeah.
that is whatever it was. And then when we got into the finals, just haul ass. And yeah, when I ran the 19.8, I was just happy and excited because I did the same thing. The
Hmm.
calculations were there, and I ran the same time pretty much, and I mean that was it. Like I got my get back, like you were saying, and proved everybody wrong. I kind of used everybody's hate as motivation when I was in high school and in college. So I would see something here or there. I would always take a screenshot just to look at it every now and then. Like, okay, this person said this, so let me go prove them wrong.
Hmm.
And as soon as I crossed the finish line, then the opportunity to go pro was there.
So get into that. Was there ever any thought of coming back to school or even transferring? Like you brought up the coaching changes. I ain't gonna get too deep into the details of the coaches,
Yeah,
but
let's not. Yeah, let's not.
so we had you, like I said, talk about if going to a different school was available, or did you just was it just pro?
um, I mean, when the opportunity to go pro was there, I just took that because, as you already said, like just the coaching changes, and I said, I think I remember. I don't know if you remember hearing this from me, but I was like, dang, like we could be like a reality TV show because you know
bro.
all the stuff that was going on.
It was
I
crazy.
was, so welcome to Indian Hills. Um, but yeah, just when the opportunity came, I took it because you know you could go to I could go back another year in the junior college system, or I can go in the 4 year to Oregon here and there. Um, and not everything is guaranteed, So my mindset was like the opportunity's here now, take it because I can come back next year and I can get hurt, and I don't
Hmm.
know what will happen. The opportunity might not be there. So,
Right.
strike when the iron's hot. Um, so yeah, all the agents were hitting me up, and I had Laurent helping me and my mom helping me with that whole situation because I didn't know the pro track and field scene, and I've never really
Hmm.
been exposed to that. I think the reason I was never really exposed to that is just because being in Wisconsin, we're not really known for sprinters. So there was nobody really there to inform me about that whole side, the pro scene. So yeah, I had Laurent stick with me, and then he was trying to help navigate that whole situation, and we talked to a lot of agents here and there, and ended up picking up Dwight Thomas because he seemed like he was the right fit. He was new. His partner was new, and it was kind of the same thing. Like, hey, I grow, you grow, we make more money together.
Hmm.
Um, and then just with the whole coaching situation, shoe companies get a little, nervous on who they allow their athletes to be with when it comes to coaching. So they ended up taking me to Florida to Dennis Mitchell, and that's how I was here. My first few races, I think before I actually went to Dennis's group, was a little. I didn't like the performances, but you know how we had that progressions and peaking cycles. So
Hmm.
JUCO Nationals was where I peaked, and then you got to dip down a little bit. So then we went overseas. I think I ran the 400 in, uh, yeah, I ran the 400 in Ostrava, and I I ran terrible. And I think is the problem was I got a little bit too excited. First time going against pros. It was already a
Hmm.
long season, and I felt I had to prove myself. So as soon as the gun went off, I just went out way too fast, and then I died at the at the last 100-meter mark. And for me, this whole travel scene was just difficult because I've never been overseas. So,
Hmm.
fighting jet lag, eating the right food, sleeping enough. So yeah, just my first experience actually traveling was just terrible. Honestly, bro, I was honestly miserable because it's like you're on a flight for so long, and then it got
Hmm.
to the point where you wanted to sleep, and then I would wake up like, did I actually sleep? I'm not sure,
Right.
because you just wake up and you're like your eyes are already tired, and you've been on a plane for hours, so you don't really know what's going on. You're not connected with the ground, the earth, or all because you're up in the air. So then we went to I think it was Morocco. I think it was Morocco. That was the second one. I ran the 200 there.
Hmm.
Same thing. I think that was my first race I ran against Andre, and the Turkish runner. Um, I forgot his name. Yeah, but that was the first time I ran against Andre, and I thought I was gonna destroy them. I was coming off of a 19.8, and then it
Hmm.
was kind of the same thing, like learning experience. Like, hey, you were on top of the world, and now you got to dip off a little bit because of progressions. And I think I got fifth in that one, and I was just upset. And then after that, I parted ways with LeBron, and then went up to Dennis's group. And I mean, practice is, I was going nuts in training every single day with him, like hitting very fast times. And then when we got into what was it, USA's to go to Worlds, yeah, I already knew I was gonna make the team, but it was me against Noah and what was his name, Christian, and the goal is to win. And this is my first time going against the top athletes here and there, and
Hmm.
I felt pretty good. And um, we already know what happened at the very end. I don't. It was. I don't. It gets my body just long season here and there. Um, and hamstring pulled at the turn. So it was just like I said, it was a long season. Body gave out at the very end, and I learned a lot, and I ended up still being able to get on the team because I think me, Noah, and Christian were the only ones that had the standard time. I guess all the other guys didn't have the standard, so I had it like I skipped over them because it's like, oh, the next person needs to go, and then like, well, they don't have the standard, and it ended up trickling to me because I had it, and I could think I got last in that race.
Hmm.
And then my mindset was when I pulled my hamstring, I was upset, but then I was also relieved because I was like, dang, it's like been a long season, and now I could chill. And then a couple days later, when I found out that I made the team, I was like, shit.
All right, I got to get right back up, get back to training.
Yeah, so then, we had
Yeah.
to get back to training and make sure the hamstring was loosened up. And I was having a difficult time actually like running through that because it was the first time I had a significant injury like that. So you would say that, body was 100% healed, but mentally I was always like, hey, I feel a little scar tissue pulling here. So I would always be on edge and I wouldn't really be giving it my all in training. And it was funny because Dennis at one point he got mad at me and he's like, "Hey, either you're gonna be a beep, or you're gonna run this rep here to your full capacity." And then I got mad at him, and then I was like, "All right, screw it, I'm going." And then I ran fast, and I was like, "Okay, you're right." So like I said, that first couple months with him was just a learning experience. Trusting my body, trusting coaching, and we got into Doha, and I felt pretty good when I was doing my pre-race. And when the gun went off in the first round, it was just mentally, I just had an error. I felt a little pop in my hamstring, and I thought that something pulled, but I think it was a little bit of scar tissue that was still loosening up. So, but like I said, mentally, I was like, oh shoot, something's about to pull. So then
Hmm.
I let up a bit, and then I didn't make it through the rounds. And then I was like, okay, my hamstring's good. And then I was like, well, dang, I kind of just gave everybody the race, didn't make it. But I wasn't too upset just because, like I said, it was all a learning experience for me. I mean, honestly, when I came into Doha, I was really like, hey, I'm just here to have fun and just, enjoy the ride. Um, so yeah, I think after that, we went into the off season, and then I ended up having what was it? I forgot what it's called. Where you have the compression on a nerve, and then you feel that nothing but like a sharp pain down your leg. I forgot what that's called.
uh,
Uh,
maybe I was gonna say a stinger, but that's up top.
no, I forgot what that's called. Oh, whatever that was. I ended up having that going into the off season, and I ended up, me and my girlfriend and I, we found each other, and then she ended up helping me find a good physio, and I had a good chiropractor, and just made sure to get the right amount of people around me just to help me get back healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a lot of problems that we had to fix, and we ended up fixing that. And then when we came into the Olympic year, I honestly when COVID came, I honestly was happy because, like I said, I never had an injury like that. So mentally, like I was still going through it and not trusting my body. And I was like, okay, this gives me more time to actually prepare myself for the Olympics and get healthy. And that whole year was just weird. People wearing masks, hand sanitizer on blast, people taking toilet paper. And then it was also difficult for us because we have contracts and we have to we have certain things on our contracts like, hey, you need to run 10 races in a year, or you get reduced X amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was difficult for a lot of athletes just because nobody was hosting races. So we're like, how are we gonna do this if there's no races around the world right now? Um, but we ended up figuring it out. Somebody ended up hosting a meet in Texas where we had like 12, 15 events, and like one race counts as a meet. So all of us were running just 300, 200, 100, 60 meters, like BS out there. So I mean that was the only thing that was pretty funny because I remember I forgot exactly what I ran, but I ran some no, like when I ran the 100, I wasn't trying to go 100%. The only race I wanted to actually give it my all was was the 200. Um, but when I ran this 100, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pretty much chill, and I ran like 11 something. So I thought it was funny because everybody had little stains on their resume. So I think you'll see. I don't know if they actually put it on World Athletics, but I have 100 meters where I ran like 11:50. You know, so that whole COVID year was just very weird, and yeah, like I said, the whole world was going crazy.
So you mentioned preparing for the Olympics. So talk about making the Olympic team at the Olympic trials and stuff like that, and then get into your Olympic experience.
So when I made the team, I honestly, like when I crossed the finish line, I was pissed because we're all competitors and I don't like losing. So when I crossed the finish line and I lost, I was like, damn, like I lost. I felt like I should have won this, blah 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 blah. And then like you could like every time I don't do what I'm supposed to do, like if you have the camera on me, you can see in my face how mad I am. So my teammate Kyrie was looking at me like, bro, you made the team, like fucking like smile. And I'm just looking at him like, yeah, I made it, but I lost. And he was like,
Right.
what? So when it actually registered, I was happy that I made the Olympic team. First Olympic team I made, and that was always a goal of mine when I was young. I always said that I wanted to be in the Olympics. After watching Bolt, Johan, Justin, all the greats. Um, but yeah, like I said, just everything was just jacked up because of COVID. So honestly, that was the worst flight I've ever had. Going to Japan, it was like I don't remember how many hours, but it's a 12-hour difference. The flight itself was long, and then you get a 12-hour difference in the time zone. So we were there, I think, 2 weeks earlier before the actual first event, which gave us enough time to get used to the time zone over there. But yeah, that flight was just crazy. But yeah, the experience, I mean, it was cool. Like I really didn't get the full experience of the Olympics just because everything was just so, shut down. Like, hey, we're stuck in the village. We have a cafeteria. We don't really get to go out and about in the city. So
Mhm.
pretty much all we saw is, the athletes in the village and then the track. That's it. I mean, I had a good time with my teammates. Um, but like I said, just the experience, it wasn't the full experience. So I didn't really quite enjoy it as much as I wanted to just because it wasn't like the actual full Olympic experience. So that's why and I'm jumping the gun, but that's why I'm more excited about Paris because no COVID, so everything is
Mhm.
going to be there. We didn't get to go to the open ceremony and then the closing ceremony we didn't get to go to because as soon as we got done with our race, Japan pretty much wanted all the people that were done to get up and out. Because
Mhm.
still COVID protocols here and there,
Yeah.
and it was funny. The only thing that was not funny, but it was a little scary for me and a couple of people because they had that contact tracing thing. So hey, if this person ended up getting COVID, they somehow contact that you were close to that person, then you're in COVID protocol, or you might have it. And when we had our team pictures a couple days before my race, I think Sam Kendricks ended up getting it, and oh wait, never mind. I shouldn't say this. Maybe actually it doesn't matter. But yeah, Sam was in front of us, and then we found out that he had COVID. So we're like, oh shoot. So we're like, turn off your phones because we don't want people to like if they do that contact tracing thing, they're gonna see that we were close to him, and we don't want to
Mhm.
deal with that. So we're like, everybody turn off your phones, blah 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 blah. So that it was nerve wracking. Taking tests every morning. Like every morning when you got up, you had to take a test, spit in the tube, see if you got it or not. So like I said, just the whole experience there was just weird. But I did enjoy myself a little bit. Like I said, I had my teammates. There were a lot of good people out there. I ended up getting to see Yao Ming. I didn't get a picture, but he's like, hey, I know who this dude is. It's pretty cool to see him. I was looking forward to actually seeing the NBA players, but then I don't think they were staying in the village.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like I had a really good time.
That's good. So, placed. You got second in the Olympics, in the
Yeah.
200-meter dash. So, like you mentioned, you hate losing, but talk about like how big it is to have a Olympic medal. Like not everybody gets to say that in the world, or even like you're from small town in Wisconsin, and you're an Olympic medalist. So talk about that for me.
Yeah, so the whole year I was killing it. I would say I'm one of the best curve runners in the 200 meters. So, the goal was to, hey, lead the race and then maintain the lead. And, everything went pretty well until Andre showed up and got me barely. But I don't know, like I said, he's a sneaky guy. So, um, but yeah, he ended up beating me. I got second, and like I said, I hate losing, so I was upset. But then I realized, like, yeah, this is my first Olympics. Getting second is actually not that, it's not that big of a deal. Not many, like you were saying, not many people have even gotten to this point. So I was just very grateful just to be able to medal, represent the country well, and yeah, like I said, it's the Olympics, like the biggest stage in the world, especially for track and field. Um, but yeah, just a lot of emotions came up, and yeah, it's just crazy, man. Like you think about, accomplishing goals, but then when you actually accomplish it, like you're like, holy crap, like what I do, kind of thing. So, yeah, like I, that's all. I was just very happy, excited. Like I said, I was a little irritated that I got second, got edged out. But at the end of the day, like I said, the goal is the medal, and that's what I did.
Mm. So talk about being one of the most consistent and successful, like recently of the 200 meters with like you, Noah, Arian Knighton, people in that name, especially over in the U.S. So talk about how it is competing with them, you guys racing all the time and things of that nature.
Yeah, so I mean, my standards is to always be the best. And I think I've been doing pretty well with that. You just making sure just to stay healthy. But yeah, I just have routines that I follow just so I can stay on top. Nutrition. Um, oh, that's one thing I forgot to talk about in the Olympic year, but I'll get back to that later. But
Hmm.
yeah, just a routine I follow, right support system, right people. Um, I mean that helps me stay consistent. Um, Yeah, competing against Noah area and all the other athletes all year. I mean, I love competition. So every single time I step on the track, I know they're gonna bring their A game, so I gotta bring mine. And like I said, for me, the goal is to PR every single year. The last couple of years, I've been injured, so but the only reason why I've been able to get back so quickly is just because I have the right team around me. But I mean, yeah, every year is crazy. There's always somebody new, so somebody trying to take your money, and you're fighting a war out there every single year. I mean,
Hmm.
I feel like in the past couple years, the 200 meters has became a premier event just because we have so many people now. You had Noah for a while, and you had Michael, whenever he runs a two here and there. Christian will run every now and then, but now you got, like you said, you got me, Noah, Arian, Michael, whenever he runs, and now you can say Courtney. Courtney's now on the scene, so every year we got dogs that are coming out, and we're all competing to get that gold. Um, but yeah, I mean, I have respect for all these athletes out there. Hopefully they have the same for me, and yeah, just like, it's a dogfight every single year, man.
Hmm. Give me your top. Give me one of your goals, major goals for this year and this upcoming season as you're in the off season right now.
Um, I mean, the goal is obviously to win. Next year I want to run the 100, make the team for the 100, get gold, and make the 200 and get gold. That was the goal I had. The past 3 years, I got fourth in the Olympic year, and then I got actually the past 4 years technically, no, past 3 years, yeah. So I got fourth in the Olympic year, and then I got hurt, so then I only did the two. And then it was kind of the same thing with this year. I was gonna do pretty hot in the 100, and then I got my hamstring injury that happened. So the goal this year is just the same. Compete in both, make it in both, and get gold in both. You know, 100-meter wise, you know, I want to run 9.7 or faster. I think I'm capable of doing that. Just because when I ran my 9.8 in the Olympic year, I was just, you know, out there not knowing anything. You know, just
Hmm.
stepped in and it was running, and now I feel like technique wise, I've gotten 1,000 times better, and I'm capable of getting in that zone now. And you know, my block starts are a little bit better than what they. Well, I would say they're a lot of bit. You know, they're a lot better than what you saw at JUCO.
Yeah,
Remember? Yeah,
that's the only.
remember?
I would be people are like, how do you think he's gonna get faster? I'm like, bro, he got to once he fixes blocks, he gonna be a problem. That's all. I swear, that's all I used to tell people.
Yeah. So you know, my block starts in the 100 have been a lot faster. So 9.7 or faster is the goal next year. I'm definitely gonna do it. I know I'm gonna do it. The
Hmm.
matter of fact is just staying healthy, you know, because the past 2 years I haven't been healthy. So the 200, uh, getting gold is more of a concern than what time I want to run. Um,
Yep.
I mean, like I said, that's the goal for the 100 too, but that's, you know, 100 is like a personal goal. 9.7. But yeah, just winning the thing because at this point, hey, if you win the thing, then you already did run something fast. That's how
Yep.
the 200-meter is. So yeah, just double gold, and you know how I've been trying to get myself on these relays, and they've been showing me no love. So you know, get on a relay. You know, I say I'll be on a 4x4 too if they allow me to. But yeah, just stack up on medals because when you see you know all the greats and what they've done, a lot of them have relay medals. You know, they got the individuals, but a lot of them have a crap ton of relay medals, and that's what I'm trying to get. You know.
Gotcha. So we getting towards the back end of it of the interview. So give me somebody you would recommend to come on the podcast, and if you can get me in contact with them.
Mm, anybody?
It could be any sport, anything.
Mm. I mean, all I really know. I mean, I would say. I would say my teammate Aaron Brown. Um, he's Canadian though. Are you cool? You cool with that?
Yeah, you think? Yeah, that's fine. I'm
Yeah,
weak, but yeah.
I'll say him or Kari. I recommend them getting on the show.
Okay.
You know, getting a different somebody from a different country's perspective. I mean, yeah, he trains here, but you know, he's Canadian, so
Hmm.
his story is a little bit different than mine and how he got to this point. So that might be a good story to tell.
Yeah, that's perfect, bro. Just get me in contact with him, and I'll set that
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Last question. It's kind of like a off the, off the wall one. Where in the world did Kung Fu Kenny come from?
Oh, so you know, when we were coming up to Olympic year, you know how we all have the same jerseys and everybody. I mean, I don't say we really look the same, but there's been talks where it's like, hey, we wish we can have our own merch, or we wish we can have our jerseys, but all of them look different. That kind of represents us. And
Yeah.
for the girls, you know, it's a little bit easier for them because you know they got their hair, the nails. So you know when you see the lineup, you're like, oh, I know who that is just because what she has on or blah blah blah. But
Hmm.
then you know, I'm not really a loud individual, and you know that I'm pretty quiet. Um, and I just want, you know, to stand out in my own way. And you know, the whole Kung Fu Kenny came to be because it represents certain values that pertain to me, like humbleness, discipline, respect, and um, I forgot the other thing. My brain is a little tired, sorry. But
You good?
it has a set of values that you know pertain to me, and I try to live them on the track and off the track. Um, and that's pretty much where Kung Fu Kenny came to be, just because I wanted to stand out. You know, I have my little bow that I do every now and then I have the headband. And with the whole headband scene, you know, the goal is to have a different type of handband every single race. You know, kind of keep them wondering what I'm gonna have on next. So I think the first 2 to 3 years we just have headbands with different colors and whatever you know, words or sayings that it has on there. But I think that what we want to do from now on is you'll just get a regular headband, and wherever we're going, like let's say we're going to Morocco or we're going to Doha, get one of the famous cities or spots in that area and just put it on the side just to kind of represent that country.
Mhm.
So that's what I've been thinking about doing. But that's basically how Kung Fu Kennedy came to be, just because I'm never gonna be the type of guy that's let's just say I ain't ever gonna be like Noah, all hype and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
I wanna, and I'm not, I can't, for me as a person, I can't pretend. So, I just do represent and stand out in a different way.
Got you. And then the last one uh we're gonna do is where is your favorite place to race at so far?
Uh, Honestly, I would say Doha. That I love that place. I mean, it's hot, but I mean, the track is fast. Every single time I've gone there, I've ran fast times, and uh, I don't know. I just they got money out there, so the buildings and everything is just nice. Like
Mhm.
everything, like you can just find a random building and it just looks nice. They have that oil money out there. Yeah, the stadiums are just nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. They just got money. But I'll also say, when I went to Zurich, I actually love running there, just because I actually had a little bit more time to actually explore Switzerland. So I don't know if you saw me post on my social media where I was on a scooter.
Yeah.
You didn't see, yeah. So I was just out and about on a scooter, and then I ended up going to the mountains, and I don't know. I just love to see nature, and it was wonderful to see out there. Way different from the U.S.
Right. That's what everybody says. When they go overseas, bro, it's crazy.
Well, I
So
always said that whenever I'm done with track, I might maybe live somewhere overseas. I mean, it'd be a lot cheaper, and
yeah,
like I said, there's more nature out there, anyways.
that's true. So that's the end, bro. I appreciate you coming on. I really do.
Uh,
I'm gonna have all his social medias and things like that at the end of this video, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to another interview for TPS Media. Like I said, I'm with my special guest, Kenny Bednarek. Good luck this year, bro. I'm gonna be watching you. I mean, a lot of people are gonna be watching you, but we're gonna be cheering for you in Paris and stuff like that. So I hope you bring back the
Appreciate it,
gold,
bro.
bro.
Nah, we will. I appreciate it, bro. Thanks for having me
Yes,
on.
sir. Yep.